live. Oh, somebody's here.
What's up?
What's going on?
Not
I
much.
hope I'm doing this darn thing right. The struggle is real right now, dude.
The struggle.
Are we live? Yes, we're live. Okay.
Yes,
It
sir.
is. It's a struggle. It's kicking my tail. My microphone fell apart on me, too.
Uh-oh. Did you get it fixed?
That's debatable, sir. That's very debatable. It's kind of like, can you hear me out of it?
I can hear you. It's not like super loud or anything where I can really like pick up your voice, but I can hear you.
Does it need to be adjusted in one way or the other?
If you can get it closer to you, it would probably help.
How about that?
That's a little better. Yeah.
Or I can turn the volume up, too.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I like that one.
You like that?
Yeah, you're coming in more crisp and clear.
How's that now?
Hold it
They
to you
need to
just
be.
a little bit more.
How's
Right
that?
there.
Right
Okay.
on. Well, we are live on the breakaway, and we have a lot to talk about, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Put you on the spot, didn't I?
Them darn stars.
Man, have you seen the rumors that are going around?
Yeah, Mr. Let's see, Robinson on the block, and then the coach sounded like he lost the team in that last game, and so a lot of drama, I guess. So
Okay. Yeah, I don't believe the drama, really. Uh, Starting with the Jake thing. If you look at it from, well, who else was he gonna pull? Sort of point of view. Who else was he gonna pull? You can't pull the whole team.
yeah,
So, I mean, if you have, what is it, 20 guys, 23 guys that aren't producing, that includes the goalie. Like, it's not his fault that the Stars weren't scoring. It's not his fault that the defenders in front of him weren't defending.
yeah.
So, I mean, from Pete's point of view, I fail to see that the blame would have been squarely on Jake.
No, I agree with you there, but then you look at two like the type of goals that was given up there on those two shots were kind of depictive of how bad the team was playing defensively. I mean, it was just um, again, I don't think it was a lot of his fault. Yeah, he probably in those situations, if you're going to be the superstar goalie, you got to step up. You got to make a play. Got to be the guy. Uh, but definitely, they kind of hung him out there to dry on those two shots. It looked like to me anyway. I didn't watch the game live. I had that feeling like something was going to go on with that game. So I was busy that day too, so I wasn't making a big effort to watch it. I know it sounds like a horrible fan, but uh,
Life
just
gets in the way.
the momentum was gone for the Stars at that point, and my phone notification came up and like beep beep, Edmonton's 2-0. I was like, yeah, I'll root for you, Stars. I love you, but we'll see you next year. That's kind of my attitude. It was at that point in time. So
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like, I love them too, and I was hurting. I was mad. Like, just come on. It's like they gave up to me, or they ran out of gas. One or the other.
it could have been a
And
combination of both. I mean, because both series coming in to the Western Conference Finals, they had to play really tough teams, and they played some pretty um, I guess, long drawn out games. You know, they had the overtime games. They had the games where they had to fight back, claw back to get, get even back into some of the games that they lost. And it seemed like it was the same thing over and over. They were just having to exert a lot of energy to get back into a game that maybe they got down quick, almost exactly like with what they did that final game.
Mhm.
And you know that can wear and tear on them. And it's just like one way you can look at it, like, oh, here we go again. We're able to get back out of this, but then it's like, then the other point is like, oh, here we go again. I ain't got the energy for this.
Yep.
Uh, so I think that was kind of the outlook that they had, especially losing three straight games to Edmonton, and then fighting into that last one. I think they pretty much they were done too. So
I mean, if you look at it though, all the way back in at the end of the season, like you knew something was gonna happen
mm,
because they lost 7 games in a row, so they're already limping into the playoffs. And then, I mean, how many times did they start the game with a lead throughout the playoffs at all? What was it?
I
Once?
think it was one game in the
One?
entire playoffs.
Yeah. And so, I mean, if you look at it like this, I don't know if it's DeBar. I don't know if it's that he lost the team, or I don't know if it's maybe the team doesn't match the scheme. Is it the right way to say it?
I think that's a good point.
Because, like, it seems like they sit back and wait. Whereas, if you look at Tyler Sagan in Boston, for example, did he ever sit back and wait? No,
That
not
dude
as a
was
rookie. Say again?
that dude was attacking.
He was. That whole team was attacking. And, as a rookie, he was 19 years old and he's got a Stanley Cup. So, uh, and okay. So you look at Edmonton too, and Dallas is a sit back and wait type team, whereas Edmonton was an attacker and they didn't make any mistakes when they were attacking. The Stars
Yeah,
were just waiting, like, okay, watch it this way, watch it that way. It didn't work.
yeah. I don't know. Uh, for me, and again, I'm not the coach. I don't get paid. Uh,
Right.
I
Same.
haven't really delved deep into, like, the um different ways that they can really run their lines and different things. But just me as a person observing from the outside, as a fan, um, DeBoer, I think, has a really good scheme, but I think he needs speed. We don't have a lot of speed. I think he needs guys, and I heard them talking about this, that he feels like the best defense is the best offense. So if they can control the puck, keep it in the zone, that helps their defense. That helps their goalie. But we didn't see that. It was total opposite. They couldn't get a hold of the puck. They couldn't control the puck. It was pass, the person at the blue line would touch it. It goes into the opposing zone. They get the puck. They come back down and they control the puck for 5 minutes in our zone. I mean, that I feel like that's his plan, and it's almost like each team used it against him.
They
Uh,
did. Yep.
and so, but I just think Dallas's uh, their roster, and again, Mikko Rantanen, they just picked him up and stuff, but I don't think he really fits his style. I really don't think he fits his style. Now, if you
Ooh.
put him at center and you got guys that are really fast on the wing, and of course, he's the big moose in the middle, I think it fits. But he was playing wing a lot. He's not a guy that can really, to me, I mean, he's definitely got good puck control, but he can't skate it from blue line to blue line and just, I mean, so, because you could tell, even in the playoffs, he was getting winded.
Mhm.
It's not his game. And and I know they were using him quite a bit and stuff. But he would make a a run down into the zone, maybe take a shot, and he was gassed. He couldn't get back up the ice to play defense really good. He might do it a couple times, but man, his line was, he was looking for the bench by that time. He was ready to get off, and which I don't blame him. I mean, he's like what 6'4", 270 pounds, something like that. He's
Big
maybe I'm
guy.
exaggerating his weight, but man, it's
Well,
yeah,
either
six foot
way,
four, 215. Yeah, so
big
but
guy.
big guy,
At
and
least for hockey.
yeah, but I really think they need to evaluate. I like Robinson. I really love I really love him, but I think if you can get somebody that's really fast for him, that sets up the Boers' offense. I think better. To me,
Ooh. So you want to
I,
trade Robo?
yeah. I mean, I don't want to trade him, but I'm saying if you trade him,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you.
you've got to get somebody that totally fits your scheme completely. Not not he's good at this, but you may struggle. No, he's got to be like 100% fits the bill for what you want to do. If not, just keep him. And maybe the coach needs to change his scheme. I mean,
Hmm.
if you want to stay coaching the stars, you coach and you change up your scheme to fit your players, to fit the star players that you've invested money into to play on that team. Fit the scheme around them, not the scheme. You having players to fit your scheme. Your scheme
Hmm.
needs to fit the players, and I think they really need to do some major looking inside some inventory GM down, and I think the GM has done exceptional, uh, putting players in the Stars organization. But uh, are they really fitting the scheme of the coach? And I don't know. I just don't see it. Uh, there's been games where it's been, I think, where the talent is just that much more better than the opposing team they're facing, and it doesn't matter. They'll dominate them. But then
Hmm.
there's the games where they need the scheme to play up to what they're expecting, and it doesn't because the guys are not fitting that scheme.
Well said. I mean, let's see some examples. Winnipeg and Edmonton. Those Edmonton beat them up, and they were faster than Dallas too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they had the double whammy for lack of a better way of putting it. They hit you with speed and with the body.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Stars, if you put, I don't know, I think if you put Rantanen out there with a Wyatt Johnston, maybe a Robo, put some youngsters with them, I think they can get you. But they got to hit. And I mean, that's where I think. And the defense just standing around. Why?
I couldn't. I For the life of me, I couldn't figure out what was going. It seemed like the old adage is like in football. I'm more accustomed to football terms than I am hockey, but I am growing with the hockey terms and stuff. But defense got caught flat-footed or flat-skated skates, way too often. It's like, they're kind of gliding back, and all of a sudden, like, oh, they're getting around me. I gotta, catch up, and then by then it's too late. It's breakaway. It's going the other way. And
Yeah.
uh, just a lot of those guys just kind of made them look uh, like they were novices. I don't know. It was, uh, they put on a clinic. Some of these guys, especially the Edmonton Oilers, man, they put on a clinic.
And they turned
And
around and they beat Florida in game one too.
yeah, I was like, oh wow, uh, I was really expecting Florida to sweep them, but I don't know. Edmonton may be the real deal this season. So
They're gonna crap out.
Skinner's got to. My son is a bigger Stars fan. My oldest son, he's a bigger Stars fan than I am. Uh, He loves hockey. He really does. He's played NHL uh, probably 14, no, maybe 12. He's played it religiously year in, year out, and he loves it. And he plays in some of these leagues and stuff. I'm not good enough. Uh, I'm good
I
enough just in
feel
the
you.
way. So, but he talks about him and stuff, and so I get a lot of my info from him as well. We'll talk about it, bounce it back and forth. But yeah, he's kind of the same page in essence. He's like, I think something has to change, because they just 3 years in a row get it to that point, but you can't get over the hump. So something's got to change. Either defensive coach, something, the head coach, players, something. There's got to be a kind of call to arms, I guess, or whatever, and see what happens.
Man, I just want to see, yeah, like you said, I want to see something change, but I want to see the defense change. I want to see why on earth did you sign Matt Dumba, a guy that's known for hitting, only to bench him? Like, I get it. He might be slow or a liability in some cases, but that's the only guy that hits besides Jamie Benn and Mason Marchment. Those guys can't do it all. I
But
mean,
again, it comes back to the point: why did you sign him? If he doesn't, if he's too slow for your system, for your scheme, why did you sign him? Uh, because like you said, he's a big hitter. He can bring the pain, and definitely could have used some of that. I think in that series with Edmonton, but he was a ghost.
and if you look at it too, you saw the Stars committing stupid penalties when they just couldn't keep up. So Dumbo would fit right in with the rest of them. Let's be real. if
Well, yeah, I mean,
he couldn't keep up, he'd just go commit a penalty. I
yeah, I
don't
mean,
get it.
it was just hard to watch, man. It was hard to watch. To see him getting uh, dismantled right in front of your eyes. That's what it was. It was just a slow death in front of you. It was all you could do was just to take to watch it, man. But I don't know, man. I love my Stars though. I know you love the Stars,
Oh yeah.
and we're gonna root for them no matter what. But you know, we're also gonna voice our displeasure, and just like every other fan of every other team. And but hopefully they can get it turned around. I mean, Jim, like I said, Jim Neal, GM, he's really good. I mean, he's I guess whatever, if the Boars asked for something, he's went out and he's got it. He's made the call. He's made the trade, pulled the trigger. Uh, and I think, like I said, I think the talent is there, and that's the reason why we've seen the last 3 seasons them being there in the Western Conference Finals, but just can't get over the hump.
See, I'm gonna have to do a show after I do a little bit of research and look at his last few teams because he did this same thing with Vegas, San Jose, I
Yeah,
think, and it was 3 straight seasons conference finals and then missed the playoffs. Um, did the same thing here, but my question is how is this team different or built different than those? I want to. Ooh, that sounds like a deep dive. That sounds like fun.
yeah,
But like this team is not the San Jose Sharks back then. I can tell you that for sure, or the
no,
Vegas Golden Knights. Um, it just the way Florida and Edmonton went at it. Like if you can attack them with speed and physicality, I think that's what you're missing because this team is loaded. And if it was as bad as people say, like trade Robo or fire DeBauer and Nil, why on earth is Jim Nil winning the GM of the year?
yeah. I mean, players seem to love him. The The owner seems to love him. I mean, for the most part, like I said, like every movie that he's made is paid some sort of dividends for the team. It
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been to the detriment, but just they with the players they have, the coaching staff they haven't been able to go to the hump, and like I said, you start have to look at like, okay, what's happened with the GM? He's went out, he's got the players, they've made it to the finals 3 years in a row, so I don't think he's the problem.
Mm.
The coach possibly because he has already had the track record of doing the same thing with two other teams, but you know, his scheme works, obviously, because they get to that point.
Yeah.
But is that scheme going to work against some of these teams that they're facing, when they get to this point in the season? And you
Right.
have to look at who do they struggle with in the regular season. They come out firing, they're firing on all cylinders, and all of a sudden they start kind of hitting a little bit. The last 3 years I've noticed in this regular season, they kind of hit a wall. They start playing some teams, maybe they start figuring them out, figure what they're doing, and getting into the playoffs. It's kind of like it's like a engine that's just kind of slugging, being really sluggish, and then starting to slow down, and then it comes to a screeching halt there in the Western Conference Finals, and um, but uh, so you have to look at that, and then I, for me though, I'm on this side. I think the players don't fit the coach scheme fully. I think from what I've understood from him, what he wants to do, they don't have those guys, or maybe they're not allowing the guys to play on the lines that need to play. You know, uh, Jamie Benn, love him. He is the captain, but he's too slow for that scheme.
Mm.
He cannot play that scheme. He would probably be better off be playing as a defenseman in that scheme. Just saying. Uh,
Stay at home defenseman at that.
yeah, I mean, because he can still hit, he can still be aggressive. He, and I've seen him murder some guys. So you know, but again, like I said, for the scheme that he wants to play as the forwards goes and stuff, I don't think Ben is one of those that fits that style, that scheme for him. And so, is there a kind of a tendency like the Cowboys we've talked about? Do they want to hang on to players too long uh, in certain situations? Just like Zeke, that 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 train had left when Zeke left the first time, and I can't believe they brought him back and tried to make him the the star running back again. It's just it wasn't going to happen.
Mm.
There was a part of me deep down inside that wanted to see that happen, but my brain was telling me, "You stupid, it ain't gonna happen." Zeke's washed. They done run the wheels off that man 4 seasons ago. So, um, but I think again, Ben is the leader. He is the captain, but for that scheme, he just doesn't fit the scheme that they want. And like I said, I've listened to DeBoer talk about his scheme and stuff, and I've heard my son Chris talk about the scheme. He wants the scheme where that offense puts the pressure on the opposing team, keeps the puck in their zone, and just really kind of eats away at that team throughout the rest of the game because they're basically putting the pressure on the defense, um, cycling the puck around, but it just never correlated with the Stars. Every game I watched, it was like they dump and chase. They couldn't get to the puck. The defense got to the puck first, back the other way it went, and a lot of times it was on a odd man rush. It just never failed. And then you look,
Yep.
especially at the end of the season, those games where the shots in those games heavily favored the other team. Dallas may have like 10, 15 shots. The other team 30, pushing 40 shots in that game, and they were losing. They were on that skid there at the end of the season, like you talked about. So
That it's that my uneducate. Well, uneducated,
You're
whatever
you're educated.
opinion. Not well, not that educated. I'm not a coach caliber type, but like my Dallas Stars educated, if you want to go that route. Um, Opinion is it is it's the strategy. Like you have the talent there. If you sent Robo into the attacking zone, he had two guys on his flank, his left and right wings. They could outrush you. They really could. If
Yeah.
you had a Wyatt Johnston, for example, and Miko, if you didn't believe Miko fit, why would you keep him for 8 years, for example?
Right.
So if you put Miko, put him at center, like you said, give him a Wyatt Johnston, give him a Robo, give him a Rupe Hintz, give him who was it they put him with?
Um.
Granlund.
Yeah. Grambling.
Granlund may not be here.
Yeah. That.
I is that right?
Yeah. I'd seen something about Granlund. I think is possibly going to be one that they may not sign back. Which I thought he was like probably one of the better players from the playoffs. I mean, he seemed like he kind of uh, elevated his game that I could tell from some of the other players and stuff. I know Robo got hurt and some of the other ones and stuff, and I think he kind of started turning on his ability right there at the end. But they just didn't show enough for me, and I don't know. It could be hard. Uh, I don't I don't know. I mean, like we've kind of talked about before. Like almost seeming like they didn't want it real well. And so, but I think a lot of it, maybe what we were seeing was maybe what they were dealing with, knowing that the scheme's not working. We keep going down the zone, they keep getting the puck going the other way. We got to change this up. Maybe there's some feelings inside of them that are they're saying that as they're going through the game. And maybe there is some truth to some of the rumblings that we've been hearing about the rumors and stuff. Maybe they're just kind of like they're uh, not totally against the coach, but maybe they're like something's not working. Owner, GM, however they do their final season. The end of the season talks with their players and stuff. So, but maybe that's where that all came about. I don't know, man.
I think they got the team to do something big. I just think they need to rework a strategy and put somebody on the back end to back that strategy up. I think you can attack them with speed, like your son said, and like you
Hmm.
said. They got the team to do it, but you can't go one way. You can't go both ways with it. Like
Yeah.
you can't dump and chase and then just wait. That's not what the team's built for. Look at what Lindy Ruff did. What was it, 2013? I think he was with here with the Stars. I don't remember exactly. That was a long time ago. But, you
Yeah.
know, right around then, Pretty Boy Tyler Sagan went from Pretty Boy Tyler Sagan to, oh, he can play um, forecheck and back check.
Right.
It's like, wow. So, I mean, there you go. They have the team just like that can attack you with speed, but you got to make them do what they're good at.
Yeah. Good point.
Like you got to let Tyler Sagan be Tyler Sagan. If you put Rupe Hintz out there and you expected him to be like a goon, that wouldn't work out either. That's a fast kid,
Yeah.
and it's just like that's what boggles my mind. I mean, yeah, they're a good team, but they're pushovers too. Like they'd rather just slide by you. I
Yeah.
mean, a friend of mine recently sent a little highlight package of a game from what was it last year when they had Radek Foxa. The man just slid his butt across the dasher of the boards to get by one of the blues, I think it was. And he just slid, right? Built for
Just
speed. He got by. I think they scored, if I remember
mhm.
right. So that's what they're built for. You got to help put somebody in the, like a Mason Marshman or Jamie Benn, I'll say, or Matt Dumba. Like, if, look at what Florida and Edmonton are doing. Again, they kill you with speed and they kill you with their hands or bodies.
Yeah, yeah, very
That,
physical. I think the Stars have got the physical guys, but I don't think they have enough of pure speed guys. That I mean, just like I Mason Marshman. I love Mason. He plays very physical, but he's slow. He is slow. It's like it's so painful to watch. He's like, I mean, like it takes him like forever to get going. He's like chugga 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 chugga. I think I can. I think I can. I think. Woo woo! And when he gets going, and it's like a freight train, and he hits somebody like boom. It's like oh wow. But it took him like 15 minutes to get started going. And get to that point. So, but I again like part of his game, part of his game fits the style, but the other part doesn't. So I think again, like to me, that would be one I would might look to dangle. I don't know what his contract is. He may be up for contract too. So, um,
I
but
don't
he
know.
might be one I look at trading. Trading for somebody that has some physicality, but I think you got enough guys that could possibly bring the physicality. Maybe keep Ben on a low contract, team friendly contract. Maybe trade Marchant, and then get you a guy that can just absolutely burn the toast on the ice and get make some things happen. I think Steele is a lot underrated, and you started seeing him start play with some of the different lines. I think because they started realizing like he was creating stuff because of his quickness and his ability to get in the zone when on the dump and chase or whatever. Then that's when you started seeing like some things kind of start happening on offense, but then obviously he can't play on every line,
Right.
so then you would get a slower line out there, and then you would see that transition of going back and forth, not really anything going, and so it was kind of shoddy. So, but anyway, to me that's what I would look at. Maybe I'm like, yeah, I really hate even the thought of trading Robo, but maybe like somebody like Mason. Uh, like I said, he's a big physical guy, but he's slow, doesn't have a lot of agility, uh, and he's lacking, I think, in just pure speed. I mean, just uh, and I think if they had somebody in that position, say for instance on the line with maybe Ratnan, and then who else were you talking about on that line too?
Granlund? Rupe
Granlund,
Hintz?
Rupe Hintz, somebody like that. Have those guys together. Then I think then there kind of creates a trio there that can play off each other and start building each line to fit that specific play style. Not have one that's all rough and tough, unless you need one. Unless you come up against a team that you need a line that's just all rough and tough and blast them in the mouth at the blue line, then put the guys out there that can do that, mix it up. But again, if you're going to build towards a scheme, you build each line, I think, towards that scheme. That way, once one
Yeah.
steps off and the other one steps on, you're still just rolling, and there's no letdown in between lines.
So you're saying, well, from what I'm gathering here, that every line needs at least one goon type player.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I fully agree. Well, except for maybe Hintz, Robo, and was it Granlund? Why am I drawing a blank on that? Oh my gosh. I think it was Granlund. That was the first line after they figured out that was the line that was working.
Oh yeah,
Hintz, Robo, and Johnston even.
yeah,
Like
and that
they
would that
don't.
would be a good that would
Yeah,
be a good set, and maybe look. I think Sagan still has a little bit of quickness and speed to him.
Yeah,
Um, you know, get him back out on the wing maybe, and put somebody that's a little bit more powerful in the center, like I said, like we were talking about, and get those guys, going as well. Like I said, I think they've got most of the tools, the players that they need, but there is so many. I think like lacking depth. I think really, truly, and honestly, though, in those lines to create what they want to create with this scheme, and I think they really need to sit down, look at the lines that they have, maybe redraw the lines and say, okay, let's redo this, and then also they may have to make the tough choice to say, hey, we gotta get better at this position for this certain style. We may have to ship Mason for somebody that fits this better. We may have to ship somebody else for this better and build around that. So
yeah. I mean, and free agency is what, a month away?
yeah, it
Du-
is.
Duchesne is on the block, not the trading block, but he's, a guy you should watch for. Is he going to come back? I hope he does. Let's see who else. Granlund, I believe, could be wrong. I think you keep the all those guys. I like all the forward lines. I really do. Except, like you said, you trade somebody that is, gosh, who do you trade though? Because you need Jamie Benn. Mason Marchment serves.
That is if he signs back. I mean, you
Oh, he
know,
said he didn't want to go anywhere. That could be all fluff and stuff too, though. But when he did his little media availability thing, he said he doesn't want to go anywhere.
oh, okay.
So, but if that whole team had enough time to gel and they didn't have to play Colorado, Winnipeg, and Edmonton, they might have had a really, really, really good run instead of a really good run.
No, that's
So
absolutely true, man.
it's like, but again, you look at those teams that they did face, and all of them had a physical element to them. And the one thing that sticks out to me, I keep harping on it, that defense that just stands around. What are you doing?
And you're right. They all had a physical element, but each one, like Winnipeg, Colorado, Edmonton, they
Mm-hmm.
all had one or two guys. Um, and I want to say that they all had at least two guys, but one really a standout guy that could just really um, take the puck in the end. And Dallas's defense, offense, back check, whatever, they couldn't handle them. It was
Mm-mm.
it was like they had to call in the cavalry to stop them. And then usually when that happens, guess what? There's like one or two guys floating on the other side, waiting for that one timer or waiting for that puck to come their way. It never fell. There were several times I was watching the game. It's like, why is there 3 stars in the corner on two guys, and then the other two are creeping way down? I'm like, there's a whole side of the other ice. If one of those guys from the other team gets the puck and gets the puck over to the other side, it's just one on one with the goalie basically. And sure enough, almost every time I say that, boom, what happened? Somebody get the puck out of there, shoot, across the other side, score. It's like one timer, one T. It's like, oh my goodness. Okay,
Yeah,
I get, you have to get in there and scrap for it, but I think if you got two guys on defense and there's two guys on the other team with the puck in there, it's all that you need. Them two better be able to fight it out and get the puck back. The other guys need to be prepared. One close, the other two covering, ready for whatever's coming out. And it's almost like they overcommitted on things like so much like that, and it got them in so much big trouble. I mean, if you go back and look, if you think about it, you know what I'm talking about because they get that puck over in the corner, they pin it up against the wall. They're fighting for it, and here comes 3 stars on two guys. Next thing you know, wiggles out back to the point over the other side. Whack! It's a shot on net. or the guy gets it out and he walks in on Otter, and that's just the thing, So uh, again, scheme is it
Yeah,
is it the defensive coach? Uh, is that where the change needs to be made? So
it's not the GM because I mean, when you look at DeBoer's success with the other two teams, he didn't have Jim Nil.
yeah,
He didn't have Jim Nil at all. He didn't have Jim Nil until he got here.
yeah,
So
and I think that he's been like whatever he needs, he goes out and gets it for him. Like if DeBoer is saying like I need a big guy in the middle, oh okay, here comes Ranton, I got you the guy you need, here it is, um, but is he still building the pieces for his puzzle? I don't know. I mean that's the thing that he's got to convince the ownership because he's only got 1 year left on his contract. I know for sure DeBoer does. So you know
yeah,
if he's not convincing on what he's wanting to do, maybe they go ahead and say, well, we're going to cut ties and start new. We'll get somebody that's kind of similar coaching style or similar scheme. We got the guys here that can play that scheme, and we'll go forward and build it. Because they don't know. Like you said, in the other places, that fourth year after the 3 straight years going to the Western, then they have a awful season. So that fourth year. So
yeah.
uh,
But again, to Jim Nil's credit, he didn't have, or maybe even DeBoer, he didn't have Jim Nil for that fourth season ever
yeah,
until it got here. So, I mean, to be fair, if you look at this group definitely was not Vegas.
oh no,
I mean, I think Dallas was the one that sent DeBoer home that one time.
I think they were. I think they were. I think
So,
that was the year that they did make it to
yeah,
the COVID year, I believe.
towards DeBoer's, maybe that was his last year in
I
Vegas.
think, I think that was his last year.
It was, yeah.
Yeah,
So, I mean, there you go. Like, is it the talent? I don't think so. Is it the strategy to match the talent? Yes, I think so. Because again, you have Matt Dumba, Mason Marchment, Jamie Benn, all great players, all hitters, all slow as a tank in quicksand, but you can trust them out there with a guy like Rupe Hintz
right.
or Robo, or I mean, you need them, is what I'm saying. You just need
Yeah,
more physicality.
yeah. Speed, physicality, and just good defense.
Get rid of the dump and chase for crying out loud.
Yeah, and or the long passes. The constant long passing. Like it's almost like and they're athletes for goodness sake. So I can't say like they're lazy because they're definitely not lazy. But the passing from the face off circle in your zone all the way up to the other blue line, and everybody's standing to it. They don't have no momentum going towards the zone. And again, that's like I said, like the puck gets in the zone, it gets stopped by the goalie, turnover. The other team's bringing it back the other way because everybody at that point starts like, oh, gotta go with the puck, and there's three forwards already in the zone, and whoop, whoop, and it's right past some three guys going the other way, you know, and then defense is scrambling trying to cover. It happens so many times, so
I
many
saw
times.
that. I saw that enough times that I just called them the Three Stooges on ice. They were just stooging around.
Sweating.
Yep,
I think, but nothing happens.
that's the one.
uh,
It pained me to see that too. Like, I know y'all got the talent, and I wonder how many of them are just biting their bottom lip, like we're not built to do this.
and
I
again,
wonder.
that may be the rumblings that we've been hearing that some players have voiced concerns about the way this stuff was being played or how the season ended or whatever. So
Yeah,
uh, if there's smoke, there's fire normally, and and if there's rumblings heard from multiple sources, then there's probably some extent, truth to it. So, yeah, I'm not saying
yeah.
that they're all saying like, throwing the board underneath the bus and saying get rid of him now or we're not playing. Um, but
They might be rattling cages, going, "Hey, something needs to change,"
yeah,
and
and they're and
they're
they're
right.
obvious they're obviously that way. I mean, players are not dumb, and they know they've been in that same spot the last 3 seasons and not been able to get past that point. So, and unfortunately, they've kind of looked bad. Uh, Obviously, this year they look really bad in that conference, and I want to say last year they took it a couple games better, but that first season I think they got wiped up too. I think in the uh, first 4 or 5 games in that first season that they made it to the Western Conference. So with the Boar.
Yeah, because one year Vegas mopped the floor with them,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and yeah, that was bad. And Vegas hit them the same way: speed, physicality, and the, they were caught looking many times. It's like playing Madden on rookie mode, and you just drop back 5 yards and throw a hail mary.
It ain't gonna work.
I mean, in rookie mode, it is.
Oh yeah. But the crazy thing is you being on rookie mode and the CPU or whoever you're playing is on all Madden and you're
Hmm.
trying to throw Hail Marys every time and it ain't gonna work. You 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 gotta rethink some things here.
That's the stars looking for the pretty pass and the pretty shot, rather. Here, 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 here. Shot wide of the net by like 6 feet. Here, here, here. It doesn't work. Shoot the puck.
Brother, I hate to do this, but I'm gonna have to run. I got to go. But
That's fine.
I
About
have
to call it a night, anyways.
yeah, I didn't want to like just leave you hanging and stuff, so I wanted to jump on as long as I could. But yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to
thank you.
stop. But love talking stars, man. Whatever whatever you want to do, you just let me know, and I'll come on here and I'll I'll flap my jaws, man. So
Right on. Well, hey, thanks for your time and thanks for yapping with me. It's been fun. I was running out of things to say too, but I think I have an idea for the next show. Free agency.
there you go. All right. Well,
All
if you
right.
invite me on, I'll have to study up and see what's going on. So,
Yeah, please do.
all right, brother.
All right, y'all. Take it easy. Take it easy, Kev.
Later.
Bye. All right. That was the maniac, and we are out. Oh, there's a nice shot of my wall. See ya, guys.